Hey guys, there seems to be a lot of interest right now in my latest creation, the Thumbtack. Super easy build, figured I'd walk you through it real quick. Materials, one of these electrical spools. I have a bunch that are plastic sided, so I went and got a couple more. There's typically 4 bolts. Undo those, this totally opens up. That gives you your main base frame. After that, took my oscillating tool on the outside of the spool, flattened it out so I could put a piece of plywood on. Checked the inside. The hub was big enough, or small enough, that a standard 1.5" pipe flange, just like what I would use in my climbing structure, went ahead and bolted that on. Now before I put the plywood on, I put the bolts in, got it set it up, took my rough cut on there, laid it down, hit it with a hammer a couple of times, drilled out where the bolts were so that everything laid nice and flat. Again, before I took this and put the plywood on, used my oscillating tool, took off all those little nubbies that stick up on the outside, flattened it out. Once the plywood was screwed on, especially into all the ribbing that runs down through it, I took a flush trim router bit, ran around the outside, got my plywood nice and clean that way, found some 1/4 inch thick exercise mat, comes at Home Depot, 36 inches wide, 90 inches long, enough to do 2 of these. Please though, before you contact cement it, highly recommend you rough it up with an orbital sander on the back side, otherwise it will not stick to the contact cement near as well. The pipe length, roughly about 11-12 inches. Simply cut, put a tennis ball on the end, screw that into your flange. I do have a couple other lengths so that it will not stand up as steep as the other ones. This one's somewhere around 9 inches. Obviously you can see what I got going on there. Same old tennis ball. Then finally, the last key to this puzzle is nothing more than a piece of plywood about 1/2 inch thick, 12 inches square. Got a bunch of Velcro on the bottom and a PVC end cap. I currently have it bolted in with 3 1032 screws into some T-nuts. That way everything's nice and solid. That holds everything in place. Simply put your tennis ball in there. And you got a lot of different techniques that can be used on these things. I've seen some kids with hands and feet go super fast, even just feet alone. You guys might want to build a set, put them in your gym. You don't know what competition they're going to be at next. Thumbtacks, enjoy them.